Coming up on this episode of Bro Do You Even Talk Pinball, we interview special guest Mike Lindsey, who is the community manager for Farsight Studios, maker of Pinball Arcade.
We're going to go through a bunch of news and updates, including a recap of the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, some of our upcoming leagues and tournaments, and, Stern's listening to their customers.
Last but not least, we're going to review two pinball machines, Avatar, or maybe even Avaturd, and Aliens by Heighway Pinball. All that and more coming right up.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I played the new Star Wars machine. It's a lot of fun, but could use a lot of code work. Nick Lane, Kevin Manning of Buffalo Pinball.
Thanks, Rudy.
Thank you,
So,
Mr. Rudy Soup.
Allegedly, Kevin just told me he's got an hour's worth of intros that he did for us, so thank you.
It's going to be a little surprise every time you tune in.
I'm surprised. I don't get to see it. What's going on, guys? It's Monday, August 28th.
It is.
I'm Nick Lane.
I'm Kevin Manning,
He is.
just like Rudy Soup just said.
Yeah. Yeah, he did say that.
It's a double
Just
intro.
in case, though. You got to say three things like three times, right, for people to remember.
Right.
That's the lesson. So what's going on, guys? It's good to be here. This is one of my favorite things to do in all pinball is talk to you guys monthly and hear our throw our random thoughts out to you guys that are actually a little less random. They're somewhat organized.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's pretty good. What do we got to do first? We got to thank some people, though.
We do.
We've got Mike coming up, but before we do that, let's thank our partners. Kevin, I want you to do this in reverse order, though.
All right,
as a
let's
challenge.
start off with Tilt Cycle, our buddy Dan Burfield. I'm looking at two beautiful pieces of Dan Burfield art right now. We did a pop bumper cap nightlight out of one of my old Viking pop bumper caps and a custom pinball sign. And you too can get your own piece of Burfield art if you go to tiltcycle.com, use coupon code Buffalo and save 20%. The Pinball Arcade, who are those guys? Pinball Arcade, they recreate real pinball machines for your computers, your video game systems, all that great stuff, your phones, your tablets. Check them out, pinballarcade.com.
Sega CD.
Sega CD, yeah. ColecoVision, Atari Lynx. Actually, I got a pinball jam for the Atari Lynx out today.
All right.
I'm going to have to play that.
I'm sure it sucks.
It's terrible. But it's got Elvira on it.
Really?
It does.
Okay.
Titan Pinball, titanpinball.com. Save 10% with coupon code Buffalo on all of your silicone rings, replacement flipper rubbers, and awesome colors they have. They have, if you want to like put clear looking rubbers on your pinball machines, you can do stuff like that. Red, blue, yellow, white, black, all that cool stuff. Check out Community Beer Works, communitybeerworks.com. Nick, why don't you tell them about the beer from Community Beer Works?
I love it. And not just because they pay me to say that. They actually have delicious beer. So anybody who's visited Buffalo and had believed us, I think they're not disappointed. V Methos can attest to that. But one of the best things about Community Beer Works is that they are down with pinball, man. They love pinball.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a pinball machine on site at their location, which is operated by my side business. So go check that out. It's a Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
That's Community Beer Works.
Jersey Jack Pinball, maker of The Hobbit, Wizard of Oz, and a machine Nick and I both have ordered, dialed in.
That's right.
Because it's the hotness. Check it out, jerseyjackpinball.com. Pinball Life for all your pinball parts needs, pinballlife.com. If you have pinball machines that break, if you have a pinball machine, it's going to break.
Probably out of the box.
Maybe out of the box. Maybe a little less now that Stern's listening to us.
I didn't say Stern, Kevin. I thought we're not naming names.
I'm foreshadowing to something we're going to talk about later in the show. But check them out, pinballlife.com. Double Danger. We got some new news to share about Double Danger. They have our Play Angry shirts in stock now.
Really excited about that. So Double Danger is taking over the reins of doing our merchandise. So you don't have to wait a week for me to run down to the post office or I actually ruined a pantsuit. Right. I ruined like a pair of pants because I was writing like in permanent marker when I was mailing things out.
On your pants?
No more. Let's let the professionals at Double Danger do it. They also have a coupon code of Buffalo. Take 15% off. Already the low price they're selling our merchandise for. So check it out.
In addition to awesome Buffalo Pinball merchandise, they got their own line of shirts, pins, hats, sweatshirts. I like the work shirts; they're cool. ddpinball.com. And last but certainly not least, Comet Pinball, maker of exclusive and quality LEDs for less. CometPinball.com. You can get all sorts of awesome looking LEDs, light strips. They got the matrix system, so you can add on a bunch of different lights and cool mods for your pinball machines. So check them out at CometPinball.com.
Awesome.
So
this is a long partner things, but you know what? We got a lot of good partners, and I think you nailed it, Kevin. Made a little fun. Had a little fun with it.
You know, it's a good time.
Yeah.
So before we get into our interview with Mike Lindsey, we got a little poll going tonight. You might be seeing it in the chat if you're watching. It's the if you go to bit.ly/brovp, you can vote on this poll and let us know. So when we talk to folks, a lot of the times when we ask them how you got into pinball, they say virtual pinball or the pinball arcade, and we're curious what that percentage is of our viewers. I know it's I liked pinball, but pinball arcade really like opened the doors and showed me that there's all these rules and great things to go after in pinball. So if that's you, vote yes. If not, if you're just like a regular old pinball head without virtual pinball, then you can vote no.
We'll let you guys know by the end of this episode where the polling's at. And by the way, Buffalo Pinball would not exist if Pinball Arcade didn't exist.
Boom.
And Williams Pinball Hall of Fame is what got me hooked on all this. So that's why I'm here today talking to you guys in the interwebs.
All right. And with that, let's bring on our guest, Mike Lindsey, community manager for Farsight Studios. Mike, welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Oh, not much, just chilling.
Let me just turn you down here so everybody else doesn't hear you too. So tell us a little bit about, I wondered as I was thinking about our interview today, is like, what does your day-to-day job entail? What does community manager at Farsight Studios mean?
Well, I actually manage the support department and all of our reviews and everything like that. I don't do all of that, all of our social media. And I actually do a lot of other things too, release management and other things like that.
So you, like, when a game is coming out on a particular platform, you help make that happen?
Yeah. We get the store stuff done. We set the prices. We set the release dates.
Nice.
All that.
Cool. So how long have you worked in the gaming industry?
Just 4.5 years. I actually started at Farsight Studios.
Okay. I was wondering, if you had a different role in the gaming industry before you got to Farsight, but this was how you got started. Have you been community manager the whole time?
Yes, community manager from the start.
Nice.
Mike, what's it like working in an office where you guys are recreating pinball machines in the virtual world?
It's pretty awesome. We actually, like with my team, we have meetings, and at required of every meeting, we have to play one pinball game.
That's a tough life,
Yeah, it's tough.
And were you playing pinball before you started working there, or was this your introduction to pinball?
I played a little bit of pinball, but really Farsight Studios actually got me into pinball. Got me in deep.
So you're in so deep now that we were talking at Replay FX a little bit, and you said that you guys are starting a league and stuff out there, right?
Yeah, Big Bear Pinball. We're actually, you guys inspired it, and trying to copy you guys as much as possible.
Awesome. We're happy to share. I know you were asking about like our league rules and stuff like that. If anybody can go steal them off our website, it's buffalopinball.com.
Because we stole it from other people.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all sharing, man. It's a great community.
Just more pinball. That's what we want.
Yeah. Why reinvent the wheel? We've got these great league rules and things like that. We might as well share them around and everybody benefits. So have you had a league night meetup yet, or a tournament or anything like that?
No, not yet. We're actually going to start September 13th at a local sports bar here called Sandy's Sports Bar.
Nice. If anybody's out in your area, can anybody just get involved if they're listening?
Just go to bigbearpinball.com and hit the sign up button and just fill that out, and you'll be entered, and just meet us there.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about Pinball Arcade. Like, do you know that we talked about Williams Hall of Fame and things like that? Like, do you know how Farsight got into making recreations of pinball machines to begin with?
What's the history behind it? What's the genesis of Farsight Studios and pinball?
Well, we actually used to do a bunch of sports games, MLB games and NFL games, and during all of that, they actually got really good at ball physics and thought, hey, why don't we try our luck at pinball? Because Jay actually had a nostalgic feeling for Terminator 2, which was in his dorm hallway, I believe, when he was at MIT. And once, he put about a year into the studio developing the physics for Pinball Arcade, well, actually Pinball Hall of Fame at the time. And then once they released that, it was a big hit. And ever since then, we've been doing pinball for about 10 years now.
That's amazing. So how many tables are on Pinball Arcade altogether now?
I think we have like 80 or 90, about 92 or something like that. Yeah, I don't have the number
That's
exactly
amazing.
right in front of me.
And it's really neat too, like if you consider from like a preservation standpoint. And you guys have done some really rare stuff, like going nuts and games that people would never have the opportunity to play otherwise. So it's really cool from a perspective of there's these pinball machines that are eventually going to break, but at least we've got these virtual recreations of them to kind of help keep it going and introduce it to the next generation, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point. We just want to get those tables out there so people can realize how deep the rules are, just like you were saying, and how awesome pinball is. Like people usually. Not usually, but when, people are new to pinball and they try to put a quarter in the machine and they don't get anything awesome, they don't get a multi-ball or anything, and it drains, they don't really, get hooked, But with our game, you don't really have to. You can try pinball out and you can see how far down the rabbit hole you can go with these things.
And then you end up with a room full of them like this,
Yeah, pretty much.
What's the biggest challenge in trying to recreate these physical machines in the virtual world?
Well, there's a lot of challenges. One is, at first, depending on how rare the table is, it's hard to find tables when you're planning to do one. And then once we get the table, then the technical challenge is often with the chip and the emulation. We run into a lot of little glitches here and there, and we have to work those out within 3 weeks before we release every month. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much the gist of it right there.
Can you take us through the process? What goes into actually creating the machines? And like you guys actually buy the machine, then you take it apart, right? And you're scanning things, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we buy the table. It arrives here. We just take everything off of it. We take the pinball table and the playfield completely apart. We give all the pieces to the art department. They model everything. We don't scan it. We model it. And that's actually because with scanning these small little pieces and everything, it's not really as efficient, as it would seem. It's actually better for us to just model it ourselves. Because with scanning, there's lots of artifacts and stuff you have to clean up, and with if we just model it ourselves, it's not such a big deal. And then after that, we take the chip, we send it to our emulation engineer, and then he does his magic on it, sends it back. And then we extract all the sounds from the table ourselves. And then we have to match those up with all the calls for the sounds. And then we put the physical pinball table back together. And then we take the 3D models that we've created, and we put them all in the playfield that we have a high resolution image of inside the engine. We put all this stuff back and wire it right back into the software, just like it was on a real pinball table.
And what are you doing? I mean, and obviously this happened over the years, and you probably have different builds of the physics engine. But are you going out to competitive players, people who've been in the hobby for a long time, and getting feedback from them? I mean, how has that evolved?
Well, yeah, we do have the companies actually who license the tables to us. We send them the build, they approve it. Let us know whether it's playing right or not. Okay. We have people in the studio that play the pinball table pretty much through the whole process and tune the table so that it does things that it does naturally.
Nice. So late last year, you guys introduced the Stern Pinball Arcade. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came to be? I know a lot of folks are anxiously awaiting Ghostbusters. If you got any news on that, or what's up next for that platform?
Yeah. And for some Stern tables, we had some Sterns in our game, and Stern Pinball saw a good opportunity to market their tables that way. So, we came out with a separate game for that. And that's where we can put the more contemporary tables like Ghostbusters, which is going to be coming out pretty soon for Xbox and PlayStation 4, and then Steam to follow after that. But yeah, it's a place where you can play the newer stuff like AC/DC and Big Buck Hunter to come.
Star Trek and stuff like that. We had
Star Trek is in it already.
You wigged out your internet wigged out a little bit there, so when you listen to this back, you're going to be like in slow motion there for a second. That's what everybody's talking about in the chat right now.
Yeah, they're doing some road work around our area, and it's really screwing up our internet. and we're also pretty remote in the mountains in Big Bear.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty amazing spot to work from what I've seen in the photos.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We enjoy it.
So, talk to me a little bit about the virtual reality support you guys have for your game and plans to expand in the future, if any.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're partnered with Oculus Rift, Oculus and Stern. And Stern Pinball Arcade is out now on Gear VR for mobile devices. And we're going to be coming out for the Oculus Rift pretty soon. And that's just going to be Stern Pinball Arcade for now, but we do have plans. Are you guys barely hearing me?
Or he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was a stroke actually. We call it a burtation.
We probably shouldn't be laughing at you.
Everybody
stop,
in chat
guys.
is claiming you're revealing all the secrets during those little downtimes.
He hits a button. Somebody's watching.
He's
Like,
somebody in Farsight's like, nope, can't say that. Boop.
Yeah, I'm on a delay, and the producers are on the other end just muting everything that I'm not allowed to say.
Exactly.
like when dubstep.
I love it.
I'm really sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no, it's okay. People will enjoy it. So we asked our viewers and listeners for some questions, and I got a few of them for you here now. First one comes from Attack7777. He's got two questions. The first one, he wants to know why releasing tables on consoles takes longer than mobile and Steam.
That's one of the most frequent questions that we get. Consoles, there's a lot more logistics going on with them. There's ESRB, they have their own QA process, and they also have separate regions with separate rules. So when we make a build and submit it, it goes to them, it comes back to us, it goes back and forth a few times. It's just crazy amount of logistics and all kinds of things like that. So it comes out later, unfortunately.
Nice. Second question from Attack. He's curious about the World Champion Soccer and licensing. He says, if you license someone to produce a pinball machine and it was acceptable at the time, why would it be time limited? So we saw that on World Cup Soccer and No Fear and Addams Family and things like that, where you've had to change some elements of the game because of licensing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So with licensing, you actually have to get everything separately with a lot of these things. With Addams Family, we got the estate of Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, Jimmy Workman, and the actual license from the movie makers, all separately. I believe the music was probably included with it, with the movie license. I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of times music even is like the hardest part. We can get the license for everything, and then the music is separate, and then we have to pay another fee for that, and we have to find the people that own the music there. And in the case with Christopher Lloyd on Addams Family, there's logistics inside of their contracts with the film that make it so that certain people have to make like twice as much as other people, or different things like that, which actually gate us from being able to do something like that. Wow. So then we'll have to cut them out and de-license them. We try not to.
Right.
For the most part, except for this case with World Champion Soccer, which is in the real world is known as World Cup Soccer.
So yeah, what was the story behind that? Why can't you say cup and you have to say champion?
Well, that's FIFA license. So FIFA license is a pretty big deal. It's pretty expensive. So we just decided, instead of passing on all of that money that we'd have to pay FIFA, we just decided, hey, let's keep the rules and do everything the same. Just change the name.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think about it until I fired it up the other day, and It used to say like World Cup on the inserts on the left, and now it just says champion. That was
champion.
That stood out to me the most. It was like, oh yeah, that says World Cup there normally,
Yeah, our first idea was actually to call it World Cup Soccer, but I think like PUP. But I think Striker is actually also I think it's owned by somebody, so we decided to go away from that and just go ahead and do champion.
Sure, makes sense. Let's see. Okay, next question from Ghost Thruster. He wants to know when we'll see The Shadow.
Oh man, I wish we would see it soon. It's still possible. That's a really cool pinball table, and it's not out of the question.
Okay,
but there's no date.
Awesome. So, Wildcat wants to know when will the massive injustice of roller games not being in Pinball Arcade finally be rectified?
Oh. Hopefully soon. I don't know.
I can imagine the license for that music must be through the roof. The licensing
Yeah,
fees.
probably. Yeah, I don't know what music is in it though. Like I'm sure you guys could enlighten me, but I'm sure
so it's based on a theme from like this mid-late 80s TV show called Roller Games. It was a thing.
Right.
And that's the theme music from the show.
Yeah.
Which somebody's like just sitting on that gold mine, just waiting for somebody to come collect.
They're like, we're just waiting for Farsight Studios.
Yeah, definitely. They're waiting for us.
Yep.
And maybe we'll come knocking.
Awesome. That was my first pinball machine, so if it comes out, it'll be a day one purchase for me because
Steve Rich again.
I have a soft spot in my heart for roller games. All right.
Yeah, we get requests for that one pretty often.
I know Star Hedgehog's always asking you about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I won't bug you about Bad Girls, so I won't hold out hope for that.
Yeah, you will.
Bad Girls.
A couple of questions from Fugel. He wants to know, first one is, will we ever get a slap nudge button?
Slap nudge.
And, I was thinking, I was like, does he mean like a slap
I know what you
save or
mean,
just
but
like a quick nudge kind of thing? Like I couldn't figure out exactly what he meant there.
Yeah, well, just for now, my advice is just like hit the joystick a little bit faster.
That'll give you a quick little nudge.
I'll take this suggestion though.
Yeah, there you go.
I got a question. I'm going to jump in.
Do it.
Do you think there will ever be an iteration of the game that is like even more difficult or more realistic for players who've been playing for years and kind of really want that difficulty of a real pinball machine? Because the versions that you guys put out feel real in the physics, but you can get good to them to the point where you can just do things on them that and you go out in the normal real world and it doesn't translate right on a real pinball machine. At least not until you spend a ton of time on it.
Yeah.
So it is a little easier. Do you think that will ever change in Pinball Arcade?
Yeah, it's possible. We do that on purpose. We try to make it just a little bit easier. Not always. Sometimes the table is pretty difficult, but I feel in most cases the table is just a little bit easier. And I think that plays well better into the video game community and people that aren't really experienced with pinball. Because they can have longer games, they can get to goals on the table a little bit quicker, things like that. But in the future, it's possible that we'll make a little bit of a tuning feature so that you guys can make it a little steeper, or you can make rubbers more bouncy or something like that. Just like how like Zakaria has those features. But one thing that keeps us from doing it right now is because we have leaderboards, and as you're playing, your scores are being compared to everybody else's playing. So we keep everything very consistent. We try to make it so that everybody's on the same playing field with the tables.
Right. Totally makes sense from perspective that you're trying to reach this large audience, right? And for most of your audience, that's what you need to put out as a product. And there's just kind of this like little bit of a group that we're like, okay, well, I'm such a pinball nerd. I wish it was a little more difficult.
Yeah,
or a little less forgiving like pinball can be.
There's only so many voo-voofs and pinball whizzes who are going to play for billions and billions of points,
And if it wasn't such an ass kicker, maybe, it would have been a turnoff when I first got into it. So it totally makes sense.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it as long if it was just like wrecking me all the time. So.
Mike, you probably don't know this, but I remember years ago I was listening to I forget what your CEO, what his name is, but he was being interviewed on a podcast. This is probably like 5 years ago. And I think he was saying that they have the tables designed so like it can be really precise, like on the flipper where you hit the ball and where it would go, but they kind of add this forgiveness into it. So like you hit a shot and maybe the way it would really go is it would miss the ramp, but with the forgiveness kind of in it, it hits it and it makes it a little easier. So it'd be cool to see that as an option one day, just kind of in the option settings to make it like super realistic.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. That'd be pretty cool to just give it some serious hardcore setting where you're like
super pinball nerd mode.
yeah, pinball wizard mode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, I derailed Fugel's
Yeah, no,
questions.
that's fine. Another one from Fugel. He says, Mike, do you have a dream pin that hasn't been added to the game yet?
I mean, in Stern Pinball Arcade, I'd really like to see Metallica and Tron. That'd be super nice. Those are some dream tables.
People would love it if you guys put out Tron. Every time
Yeah,
I
that'd be
stream
awesome.
Tron, they're like, "Oh, this should be on Pinball Arcade."
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And question 3, this is the one that came up a couple times in our discussion on Discord. He said, "Is there any chance for a Big Bang Bar or a Capcom game getting added to the Pinball Arcade?"
Yes, there actually is a chance. I think we've been trying to get Capcom emulated, and I think that we're pretty far along with that. But I'm not exactly sure how far we're going to go with it. But it's definitely in the realm of possibilities.
Awesome. So you're saying there's a chance.
So, yep, saying there's a chance.
Awesome. I know people would love to see like Kingpin. That's
Yes.
they made like 3 of those or something.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, those were my questions. Kev, do you have anything else?
I think that's pretty much it. Mike, did you have anything else? What's coming up next? You guys got your table hints. People in chat are saying they can't fathom what the next game might be. But
Yeah.
any
We've been
idea
trying to
what's
fathom it
coming
as well.
down the line for Pinball Arcade?
Well, we also can't fathom it, but if you go to our newsletter, you can check out the hint there. I'm sure people have shared it at pinballarcadefans.com. If anybody's interested in any news or anything, even just anything pinball related, if you guys want to go have another community to talk with, go to pinballarcadefans.com. Yeah, and we have Ghostbusters coming soon on PS4 and Xbox One for Stern Pinball Arcade. And when I say coming soon, I mean like pretty soon this time. I've been saying soon for a while. And I've been hoping that it's soon, and I thought it was soon, but it's been taking a longer time than
Software
I was expecting.
development is tricky, people.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's
Are you trying
definitely
to figure
tricky.
out how to make the scleral targets stay up even when you hit them, just like the real table?
Yeah.
Make the scoops kick right down the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Mike, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all you guys do. Thanks for the free tables that you guys give us once a month to give out to our fans. It's really cool. Like I said, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be here today. Buffalo Pinball wouldn't exist if it wasn't for what you guys started a long time ago. So thank you.
Oh, you guys are welcome. I mean, same for me. I wouldn't be in pinball if it wasn't for Pinball Arcade. So thank you, Pinball Arcade, Farsight Studios.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Twitch.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, later, man.
All right. Bye.
All right. We got some news.
We got news.
A lot. Believe it or not, a lot goes on in a month of pinball. I find it more and more and more so. I think I used to worry that there would be nothing to talk about, even when we do it once a month. But here we are. So why don't you kick it off? Let's talk about. So we ran a little tournament called the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open. Yeah, we did the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, which was if you're living under a rock, it was a Papa Circuit event major, which there were only 8 of those in the world, and super honored and privileged to be one of the 8 to host that. So it was the 18th through the 20th. We even had a pre-tournament, which was run by Steve Daniels, our very own Steve Daniels, who did an excellent job, and Kevin and I got to play, so that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, man. It went awesome. I'm super relieved that it's over and done with, and I have like another 50 some days to really go back and do that.
Yeah, you need like a good month to kind of like forget about all the stress before you started thinking about like, maybe we should do that again. When you come out of an event like that, it's just like, I'm never doing that again. Why did we do that?
It was awesome. I mean, we had 31 more people registered in the tournament that we did the previous year.
Yeah.
Nearly everybody came back. I don't know, man. We had the Papa folks come up again, and they did the broadcast this time, which meant, camera rigs on all the machines.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's so much better watching the finals, and you can switch in and sped things up. Mike Primo, who was our guest last month, came down and worked his magic with replays and cutting away to segments, having Jeff Teolis interview players. I mean, it just really came together, and people were saying it was an improvement on the Pinburg broadcast, but that's only because, this is like their second crack on it. So imagine, where it is a year from now, right, as they do this more. So super privileged and honored that, we had the talents of all these people come and help us out, and our volunteers and our techs, and man, it was great.
Yeah, dude, the broadcast kind of blew my mind. And when you think about the just the level of talent that folks have in this hobby, and everybody kind of brings their own piece together. So like Jeff Teolis is a radio guy, and Mike Primo is a TV guy, and the Papa folks have been doing their streaming for years. And, we've got folks who are awesome on the mic doing play-by-play and commentary like Steve Bowden and everybody else who joined me. It's just amazing. And the fact that we were here, after, what was it, Papa? When people were saying, there's that article that came out, and it was kind of criticizing the coverage of pinball a little bit because it was from an outside source. And we kind of went back and forth on what were some of the things that we thought could help bring broadcast pinball to the next level. And then through the efforts of all these folks, we were kind of able to bring some of that stuff to life. It was really satisfying and exciting, and it was fun to be a part of. And I just, thanks to everybody who pitched in and helped out. It's fun. I went back and watched a little bit of it, and when we got to see some of those like instant slow-mo replays, and we all like freaked out, it brings this next level of excitement and energy to the broadcast that I think wasn't there without it. It just like takes it to the next level.
So being who I am, and probably Kevin being who he is, I mean, we're already thinking about how we can make it better for next year, including if you did attend. I mean, I would next year I would have pre-registration, or people can check in during the pre-tournament, right? That would sped things up.
Yep.
And some of the, I guess, the frustrations on our end, and some players noticed it, was Classics 1s. Some of the games weren't tournament ready, and what's kind of frustrating to us, if you're gonna get into some negatives, is that we only have so much control. And those are the venues games. So next year, I hope to have an even better Classics tournament. Overall, it fixed itself and it worked out and things got rolling. But Classics 1 was a little rough with some of the games, and then Classics 2 got better. So thanks to Bruce from Slam Tilt Podcast for bringing out a couple of his games. Thanks to the Papa folks who brought up Quicksilver, and that Classics 2 entries on the second day made about 200 more entries than the first, just to kind of to show you how it's super important to have games that are running flawlessly. And then just working about some logistics. That place is packed full of pinball games. I think Bruce actually looked at me and goes, you know what? I never thought I'd say this, but there's too many pinball machines here.
Yeah, it's we originally envisioned the main area where the main division was, just having the main division games. And there was they ended up putting additional games past it, so it made it a little more crowded back there than we wanted. We wanted more room between the games. So there's always ways you can improve. I think overall it went great. We got great feedback from folks. They said we run a tight ship. That's I'll give credit to Nick Lane for that. He keeps things moving.
Next year I want headsets. I'm not fucking kidding, Kevin. I'm on headsets and walkie-talkies.
Do it. I'm down. I want a little earpiece like a Secret Service.
They have that at Papa, right?
Dude.
They have that stuff.
They're doing it right.
We'll get that. Well, because you need to.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
It is chaos. And you put one of those on Dave Fix. Well, he's always got his on anyways. So
it took me until ended on Sunday. It took me at Thursday. I think I looked at Martha. I was like, I feel like I'm back to normal.
Yeah.
I had to take a day off from work. I went home sick on Tuesday, about half the day. It just wiped me out. But.
Yeah, it took me. I was off last week, but we ended up running around doing a whole bunch of vacation-y kind of things. But it took me a couple days to recover. Just overall impressions was it's stressful and strenuous, but it's awesome, and I love it. And it's all those things, you get to see all these amazing people, and the fact that people take their time to come out and visit Buffalo and be a part of it and put their trust in us. I know the Papa folks say the same thing.
Pinball Joe, this is not live.
No, this is old.
I anticipated that question. I knew you'd ask that at about 8:35 p.m.
Amazing.
All right.
So that was the Summer Open. But we've started kind of branching out, and we ran our first tournament at a new location called GameOn in Buffalo. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
That place went from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. So it was back in July, early July. I was talking about putting a game in there, and they're like, I don't know if we can put a game. We got to find space. Mind you, this place is huge. Mm-hmm. So they got 1 game in there, and now they're up to 7, and soon 8 will be going in there. Thanks to Steve Daniels' Iron Man.
There you go.
But we had their inaugural tournament there. That went well, I think. I don't know what's more to say about it.
It was actually a great warm-up tournament for the Summer Open because we ran the same kind of like pump-and-up format. It was like, oh, yeah, this is how you score keep, and this is how you keep people moving. And so actually it was – at first I was like, you're nuts running another tournament right before the Summer Open, but it was actually –
It was good, though.
It was awesome.
It kind of got people in the mindset and comfortable in our scorekeeper. So this sort of served – there's like a dry run for that in a way.
Yeah.
But speaking of GameOn, this is more of a local PSA. We're going to be having monthly 3 strikes tournaments there starting in September. It's going to be the last Monday of every month with a few exceptions because of holidays. But last Monday of every month, I think we're starting at 7:30, 3 strikes tournament. So check that out at GameOn. It's my local PSA.
Awesome. And just another like local update. Well, we got 2 more. We have a dialed-in launch party coming up this Friday. If you're listening to the podcast and you're in the Buffalo area.
There's more local PSA. So that's also the night of our Selfie League finals. So come on down to Pocketeer. The tournament starts at 7 o'clock. That's 7 o'clock on Friday. And it's $5 unlimited entries on Dialed In. We got some swag from Jersey Jack, who was kind enough to send that up to us that we'll be giving away. I believe a Translite, cabinet decals, and some other stuff. This like box showed up. I haven't even opened it yet.
That's awesome. Cabinet decals. I've never had that as a giveaway. That's awesome.
So we'll see. We'll see what other goodies there.
Stick them on your wall. And so we're starting up our league. So on the local scene, we run 2 main leagues. One is our individual league that goes out of players' homes. The other is our team league, and both are starting up. Coming up. I don't know. I think it's fun to kind of talk about what's happening locally. So our individual league, we just sold it out, 26 players. Got some new folks in. It's always good to see. And we're going to be who's hosting first? I don't remember.
I'm sorry. Can I ban this person? They're spamming the channel.
Mods can do it.
The mod's here. Yeah. Steve Daniels is a mod. He's here.
Come on, Steve.
All right, he's on it. Sorry. The fun of live things.
Yep. So talk to a little bit about our leagues.
So we got 2 leagues. We got the team league. We're pretty much, I shouldn't say we're full, but that's coming up the first Wednesday in September. So that's next week. Yeah. So that is in various locations around Buffalo. You get a team between 4 to 6 players. Starts at 7:30, and you play 4 rounds. So I think I'm really happy with the format of team league. I'm really excited because I think we found the ideal mix. We've sort of grown and experimented with it, but the first round is going to be a round of doubles. I'm sorry, is that right? First round is a round of doubles, yeah. So like, let's say Kevin and I are, playing against Jay and Martha, and we combine our end scores, and that's who wins. The next round is a singles round, so Kevin may face like Jay one-on-one. Whoever wins gets the point, right? Mm-hmm. The round after that is a split flipper. You guys all know split flipper who watched the our stream. And come on, everybody has like one flipper button, which is cool. I mean, this is the team concept in action.
Yes.
And then now, thanks to Jack Tadman,
here we go.
We're adopting the relay race. So Jack Tadman stole Team League from us, who we stole from NYC. But then Jack Tadman edited it and added relay race in it, and I stole relay race from him. So look at that, all that sharing and stealing and all that.
Yeah, we were talking to Mike about stealing rules and things. That's what it's all about. Somebody comes up with something awesome, let's all do it.
So the relay race is going to be fun. So you get a team. I gotta look at my rules that I created for it, but I think you start your team of relay race 3 or 4 players, and like let's say I'm player 1 on my team, Kevin's player 2, so I'll play 30 seconds. If the ball's still going, right, then the other team's coach is going to be like 3, 2, 1, and then yell switch. If you want to see this in action, check out Ed Robertson doing it in our
our Battle versus Canada.
Battle versus Canada. He was really good. He obviously had practice, but you'll yell switch, and then like I'll have to like hit the ball, so I can't cradle it, and then Kevin will have to like run up to the machine and try to keep it alive. Mm-hmm. And if you drain, then it's the other team's turn, and they do that process. So a little chaotic but fun. But again, it's a team concept, and it's not serious.
It's not Whopper points. It's not IPA.
Some people are like, oh, this is. So if you can play pinball and not be 100% serious, this is for you, and you'll love it. And the cool thing about Team League is that, this is sort of the way I view it too, is it gets people comfortable playing casual competitive pinball, right? So there are people who would never enter a pinball tournament because of that fear factor involved and, oh my God, I'm not good enough. But they'll say yes, I'll join, 3, 4, 5 of my friends, right, on a Wednesday night and just play as a team. And then once they realize that they don't die when they don't do well, or, they don't lose their job, or some crazy thing doesn't happen, and they're like, it's kind of fun, then you start seeing them playing in tournaments. So I love Team League. That's starting up. And then this is a lot of Buffalo Pinball stuff, guys. Sorry. But then we have...
They can steal these ideas and go bring it to their
That's
teams.
true, and we're happy to help you steal everything. It's on our website. Then we have our regular league, which is going into its 5th year. That's the original Buffalo Pinball League. Once a month, 3rd Saturday of the month. It's all at Collectors' Homes. Kevin's hosting. I'm hosting. Get to come up and play some sweet collections. I think we just have one spot left because, unfortunately, Bruce Nightingale had to drop out. He's got other stuff going on. So he'll be missed. But if you have dancing skills, you can fill in his position pretty readily.
Maybe take home that trophy.
Yeah, just have 5 cups of coffee, do some dancing, and it's like Bruce never left.
That's right.
So that's coming up. Anyways.
So let's move into some industry news. Some great news to start off. Zach Sharpe has been named head of marketing at Stern Pinball. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to
Congrats,
Zach.
yeah.
He was at our tournament. I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but either way, we're really happy for Zach. And it's exciting to see Stern bringing in these high level pinball players and great people who are real advocates for the game.
They have so much talent at Stern now. It's really amazing, and we're fortunate that Zach is able to now dedicate himself full time to the hobby.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. Congrats to Zach. Let's see. Stern leg braces. What is that about?
Stern. Oh wait, I got pictures somewhere.
I don't even know about this. Do I?
Did I put them in here? Where did I put the pictures? Oh, I don't think I put the pictures in. Stern. I knew you'd be excited about this one. So shout out to This Week in Pinball. I read their update today, and they posted some pictures of Stern has started to reinforce their cabinets.
Good deal.
So I know a lot of times we give Stern, a little bit of feedback. We expect them to be up to a high level of quality and high standards. And here they are. They're listening. They're recognizing when there is an issue and they're resolving it. So if you're not aware of the situation, we talked about it a couple months ago on the podcast where some of the newer games were splitting at the seams, like physically on the cabinet, and they've added a bracket at the top corner, like a metal triangle bracket, and also they have the leg bracket that looks like the Williams ones now.
Awesome.
So
that's really good news.
Good on them.
I'm glad to see them addressing issues, and that's what needs to happen. Things are going to happen. As long as you address it and take care of your customers, everything's going to be okay.
Boom. Well done, Stern. Pinball news. Quick, it's a stalwart of pinball news, obviously. On the internet, it's been around forever. But they've just relaunched their website. I don't know if you've probably been to Pinball News, but if you've been there in the past, it's been like the single column running down the middle, kind of constrained like an old early 2000s website. But now it's got this cool front page with all a bunch of different stories, and they've really relaunched it. So congratulations to Pinball News on their relaunch.
I really liked when I was getting in the hobby how they broke down a new game with the pictures they took. They really went in depth with the kind of the rules and the impressions. So well done. I mean, that's one of the early memories that I have from this hobby. So good for them.
Yep. Congrats. Check them out. Pinballnews.com. So KISS owners finally got an update to their pinball machines.
Yeah, I got a KISS, by the way, because we've got one for the business, and I'm babysitting it until it goes out in location, which probably won't be till November. So you guys are going to see that on the Bro Show soon.
Oh, baby.
Which we are setting Bro up next week.
Yes.
Can't wait. I know people are anxious.
September 7th, Bro is back.
People are saying they miss Bro, Kevin.
People are saying that they want it to be back. But yeah, so the new season starts up next week. Tune in live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Do we know what game will be the first game of the...
Maybe KISS. If it's got to go to this event, and I don't know if it's being taken out that night. So I don't know. Maybe KISS, maybe Bad Girls. We'll see. But I got a KISS, and I gotta say that game's fun.
Yep.
I said it was fun in my review.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing with the new code is it's just really bug fixes. So I think people are still pissed off and they're not really happy. One of the fixes that I really like though is that one of the hard things in the game is letting the instrument getting all the instruments that you got to collect. Now, I guess they say lit ball after ball rather than disappearing, which made it harder. So I think I have that right. I like that. It's just the the thing with that game is that it just doesn't have anything really special to it. But the rules are. It's not like they're super shallow. I don't know. I like it. It's fun. It's never going to be a game that I go out and personally buy because it just doesn't have a great toy or anything special. But it's a fun game.
Yeah.
And I've been playing it a bunch, and I swear to God, I just have Kiss stuck in my head, and it's driving me crazy. I have like dreams where like Kiss is stuck in my head playing, or like I'm running a pinball tournament. It's just like, there's a lot of pinball going on. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm about to break at some level, but
Yeah. So, I haven't played the new code. I'm glad you were able to offer a little insight into it there. I know folks are still kind of freaking out that the cities don't do anything, but did Stern ever say the cities would do anything?
That's what I want to know.
Or is this just something like people on forums said, well, the cities are going to do something someday, and now they just want to will it to happen?
It's an honest question. I don't know. Was there ever a time when like the designer or the coders or Stern ever said that the cities will be something? It's kind of weird that they're in there and they let you select it. I believe me, it looks like they should do something just because you can change the city you're in. And I know that, there's voice call outs for it.
Right.
And maybe that's the extent of it, but I don't even know. I don't know, man. It's weird. Whatever.
I think it's fine without the cities doing anything.
That's it. That's the updates. So, love it, hate it, whatever. That's Kiss.
Cities, baby, cities. All right, and last but certainly not least, we've played Star Wars LE. I know we reviewed it last time. We got to do the loopy thing, the supercharger, the Millennium Falcon
Hyperspace.
blowing hyperspace thing.
So really, the only difference between the Pro and the Premium LE is and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, is that hyperspace, is that steel ramp that goes around the playfield and the escape thing, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It just
goes pink.
It shoots it back in the shooter lane
instead
rather
of
than
getting a virtual
draining
ball
it.
save,
Which who the cares, right? But like, so between the Pro and the LE, that's what $3,000 difference for that steel thing. I mean, I've seen a lot of differences. There's variation between Pro and Premium and LE, and like whoever the designer and the theme. But this is maybe one of the chintziest, littlest differences I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. Like when I got it, it was like, okay, I saw the little like ramp go up. It's like, all right, I'm gonna hit that. It's not easy to get. And then it starts whipping around.
It's
You're like,
cool.
It's pretty satisfying. You feel the machine shake a little bit.
But
is it $3,000 difference?
No, and here's the other thing. When I was doing it, the ball fell off of it when I was supposed to be selecting a scene, drained because the flippers die, so I lost the ball. Now that can be fixed in code, but it's just like, I just walked away. I stopped putting money in it after that moment.
It's a feature.
So, yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Also, the Death Star blows up.
The loopy thing, TM.
That's
trademark.
I like to just call it weird things.
Hyperspace.
It cracks like the egg.
Of all the things, of all the toys, you're thinking of Star Wars. All right, guys, we got Star Wars thing. What can we do that's cool? We got Yoda, we got the Force and magnets, and let's put a lightsaber. No. Hyperspace.
Hyperspace.
That's it.
Make the ball go really
word
fast.
association. Star Wars. Hyperspace. Okay, that's it. Sorry, guys. If you love Star Wars and all that.
And they said, make it
sorry.
so, number one, right? That's what they would say?
Kevin.
Yes? No?
You're going to get people pissed off.
I'm sorry. That's Star Wars.
All right.
All right. We got games to review.
Speaking of pissing people off.
Reviewing games.
We don't have an intro for reviewing games.
How about...
That shit's kind of weak. We got to work on that.
It makes no sense at all, but there you go. That's all I had ready.
We got to work on that.
I could have played Rudy Soup again.
No, we got to work on it.
All right, so let's review Avatar.
Yeah. Let's do this.
This is the game that our patrons voted on.
Yeah, but I remember when this game came out. It was in 2000 and was it 2000? Maybe I don't remember. Was it 2010 or 2011? Somebody help me out. I remember the launch of it. Like I remember seeing people getting the game and posting it. That's pretty much around the time that I got into pinball.
So this is James Cameron's Avatar. If you've ever played it, it's got. We're looking at the screen right now. If you're watching, it's got an awesome lenticular 3D translate, like Tron, the one version of Tron.
And this is when Stern was basically just grabbing the like movie poster art, which is fine. I mean, obviously it's going to be good.
Yeah,
like with Iron Man and Tron and Avatar. That was it.
Yeah, I like the 3D translate on it.
August 27, 2010. Okay, so that was right when I got into pinball. Okay, I remember like seeing the launch and watching people get excited for the game. Okay, good.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve Daniels.
Yeah, good point. Zentron in the chat says, make sure to tune in on our Twitch channel. Made some good tutorials on the LE, so go to twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball.
This came out almost, by the way, 7 years ago to the day.
Wow.
Wrapped by 1 day. How appropriate.
Man, we knew that. Thank you, Steve, for verifying how awesome we are.
In between this, though, let's go to the poll and check on
All right.
the poll results.
Yeah, let's check on.
You want to do it now so we don't forget? That way we don't forget.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's see. We've got our poll going. Where is it? Website. Did virtual pinball get you into real pinball and see the results? It's almost an even split.
Almost even, yeah.
But 53% of people who watch the stream say virtual pinball got them into real pinball. So that's pretty impressive.
No, 40%.
I'm
47%.
backwards. 47.
47% of our viewers say that virtual pinball got them into real pinball. So if it wasn't for virtual pinball, at least 17 people who voted would not be playing pinball today.
Awesome.
Watching us. That's
great.
cool.
All right, back to Avatar. Let's talk about the art. Nick, talk about the art.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the era this was made. This is when Stern during the recession, they simplified the games, right? You know, less toys, less ramps, shorter ball times. All right, think like Iron Man, Avatar, Rolling Stones, Tron. I like the colors in the game. Like, I'm a sucker for like kind of these blue colors. I think the game in general, the cabinet, the 3D backglass, the art in the playfield, I think it all looks good. It's very easy on the eyes. I totally dig it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those gets the job done kind of pinball machines. We say that a lot about this era of Stern, but it's nice. It's lots of blue, like you would expect, like the characters in the game, like Nick was saying, but nothing exceptional. It's no Dirty Donnie. It's no Zombie Yeti, but
it's not hand-drawn art, but I would say for like the photo, whatever art, is it some hand? I don't know. For what it is, the kind of that basic style, I think it's better than most.
Yeah, it's a nice looking machine. What about the sound?
I like the sound. It's Avatar sounds.
Yeah.
I only made it halfway through the movie, by the way. I don't really like it, so that's where I'm coming from. There's like a bunch of machine gun sounds, but what I really like about the sounds is they got actor Stephen Lang, who plays the military guy, right?
Yep.
Who becomes, I guess, the bad guy. I didn't even get that far, but you can just tell he's gonna be bad.
He eventually, like in the robot suit, he gets a knife out. That was my favorite part of the movie. It's
Okay.
like a robot with a knife.
Oh, wow.
Stabbing things. It was
Yeah.
pretty great. You missed that.
I miss all the good stuff then, apparently. But he does really good call outs. I remember this is like one of the first games I played in pinball, and he just nails like the jackpot call outs.
Super jackpot.
No, he gets into absolute jackpot. And he just like various levels of tone and like is like, damn, dude, this is what you want. Why can't every jackpot be over the top? I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's gotta
Get
be.
you pumped up. Mm-hmm. He does a good job. Good job hiring him, Stern, for that. He nailed it.
Yeah, I remember when Tuna was streaming it, he'd say like his favorite part in the game was getting to a certain jackpot call out. So
yeah,
it's that good. It's
Yep.
like that's what you want to play for.
And he's in the chat right now saying it's very with capital very good.
Very
it is.
good.
Very good sound.
Awesome. So good sound. Toys. I got pictures of the toys. So the main toy is the amp suit. I got a close up of that here, right there. So it's a big giant robot. On the LE it moves. On the Pro it doesn't. Right.
Well, the Pro does one cool thing. Like, so when you destroy it, it like flops down. Like,
oh, that's right.
So the legs are bolted into place on the Pro, but when you destroy it, like half the body will kind of collapse and like the lights will flash. So like it's a cool moment. It's when we talk about moments in pinball. There's a magnet that holds it. Mm-hmm. You know you defeated it. Lights are flashing. The thing collapses like it died.
Yep.
Satisfaction.
Yeah,
right?
I love that part of the game.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And on the Pro or LE, I've actually played it, but it was so long ago maybe I didn't even see it. But I guess it walks forward a bit or something. I don't know. Tuna's in chat. He can kind of describe it better.
Yeah. So this is one of the early LE games, and the LE actually has a Powerball in it, which I never realized.
Like, what the hell is the point? That's one of those things. Is like they just stuck it in to make it like special, right? When they really weren't doing much with the LE, they kind of put like this shiny chrome on it and like, oh, let's stick a Powerball in there, even though it makes no sense. Which I think it's called a Navi ball or some shit.
Yeah.
And then the other toy, like there's that like coffin that he goes in. It's
Yep.
not a coffin. What is it?
I don't know. It's what it looks
It
like.
looks like a coffin. All right. It's got a little doll from like Walmart in there of Jake.
That's super cheesy.
And at least on the Elliot will open and close, but who cares? That's just something that can break. So the amp suit is kind of this thing that sticks out the most. Even on the Pro, it's huge. It's satisfying, and I dig it. And there's a magnet in front of it, so it will whip it around.
Yeah.
And there's also a 3-bang drop target in front of it.
The Link multi-ball under the coffin, it'll you put a ball in, it'll hold it,
yeah.
and then you got to keep hitting it, and then you eventually start a multi-ball, which we actually had that in our summer open last year. And if the tilt isn't super tight on that game, you can actually nudge it and get a multi-ball started, which we kind of
cheating
found out as these competitive players were playing the game. So cheaters.
Yeah.
All right. So pretty good toys. DMD and lighting.
The DMD I think uses a lot of like digitized clips, but nothing memorable. Like it's been a while since I played the game, and I used to play it a lot because I did like this game quite a bit. But nothing memorable.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing.
Yeah, it's got like the movie clips. It's definitely
kind of blurry.
That era.
It's kind of blurry too, and
Yeah.
the color DMD hasn't touched it yet. So maybe it's like with Iron Man, it just like will really come alive.
Yeah, I hope so. It seems like these games that use those digitized movie clips really benefit from color DMD, being able to tell what's going on the screen much more. So maybe it'll make it pop. As of right now, nothing real memorable from the DMD, like you mentioned.
The lighting's good though. Like I said, the moments like when you destroy the amp suit, the lights kind of go wild. I mean, it's a simple thing, but it does a good job of creating that moment. Better than Star Wars.
Yeah,
with the
imagine
TIE
that.
Fighter. Like there's like blue lamps around the game, so they'll pulse during certain moments. Like when you lock a ball, like it looks good. It's kind of a pleasing game for kind of that stripped down era.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of in the stripped down era. I mean, who am I kidding?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it looks good.
I'd say it's good, not great in the lighting and DMD area.
Yeah, and I mean for the time too, before we got into like the color changing LEDs and stuff like that. You know, this is back in incandescent. It's good.
Sure. Gameplay. What do you think? I've only ever really played this game in competitive settings, so for me it's like go Link, go amp suit, go Link. There's a lot more to it. I think it's kind of Iron Man-ish in how you play, right?
Well, the shots feel good. It's a John Borg design, so you've got only one ramp on it, one kind of safe return. Everything else is gonna kind of put the ball in danger. The 3-bang drop target's gonna come back at you, hitting the amp suit. It's got a magnet that's gonna come back at you. And then orbits. And sometimes it comes out of the pops, like down the middle. I think that's a frustration that a lot of people have with the game. It's maybe not the best design in terms of where it exits the pop, so that could be dangerous. Sort of does that on AC/DC too, where it comes down the center, and I think some games had spring on to try to divert it. But it's again, I think if I just say it's a John Borg game, that will say a lot to people in terms of the ball time. Think Iron Man, think Big Buck Hunter. There's similarities in that kind of left ramp, that one ramp on the game. It looks just like the Big Buck Hunter ramp kind of deal, so you know it's there. I'm looking at it right now, and that Link shot is sort of where the Big Buck Hunter ramp shot is, and you see similarities. If I say it's a Borg, it should not surprise anybody.
Yeah, I like the layout of it. It's fun. Kind of dangerous. This is the kind of game I like playing. Like Walking Dead or other board games like Tron and things like that. It's got it's not super punishing, but you got to kind of fight it. It's got a couple safe shots, but otherwise you're playing battle against the game, which is something that I like.
I'm always happy to play a game of Avatar.
Yeah,
it's challenging. The ball's coming back at you. There's a couple safe shots. It shoots well. It's a Borg.
Yeah,
it's
for
my
sure.
cup of tea.
There you go. So let's talk rules.
See, this is where I'm lacking a little bit because, like Kevin mentioned earlier, I know how to play the game in a tournament setting, which is pretty much going to the Link all day and then bringing amp suit in and stacking that right. And I don't really know much beyond that, which is a shame because I know there's more to it. And there's kind of the character collection. I think where it might lack compared to maybe Iron Man or something is that there's no mini wizard mode. I think there's just one wizard mode, which is, from what I understand, is very hard to get to. So.
Okay.
It's that kind of depth of rules, not a heck of a lot to it. And you can if you're just playing for points, it might make sense just to keep on going multi-ball all day rather than trying to play through the game and kind of getting to, like a wizard mode where the ultimate payout is, right? So like on Iron Man, you don't play Monger all day, or you don't play War Machine all day. You are, because of how balanced it is, you are trying to get through the game. With Avatar, I don't think that's the case. I mean, if you just want to ratchet up points. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a little lacking in the rules here.
Yeah, same. I can't really offer much more beyond that because, like I said, I mostly play it competitively, try to stack the multi-balls, and go to town. So let's talk lastability. What do you think? How long would this last in your collection?
I think we need Tuna in the chat to answer that. Listen, I love a John Boer game, but I don't have this game, and I kind of see the writing on the wall, basically the way you play it. I need to spend more time, and I really wish somebody can break down the rules for me. I don't know if that would change it or not, because I've got a Big Buck Hunter, which I love, and I don't see that leaving. And I got an Iron Man. I'm a little bored of that. But, lastability, maybe it holds up better in a larger collection.
Yeah.
If there was a good price on Avatar, I might pick it up for a while.
Yeah, I've considered grabbing one.
Yeah.
Because they're not super expensive, and they're fun, and, maybe the rules aren't the deepest, but I'd like to own one for a while.
It's a fun game. It's a board game, and it looks good in the collection.
Yeah.
And that motivates me, and the sounds are great. So the total package of the game is kind of balanced and really good, right? It's not like there's this one big negative on the game itself. It's all pretty good.
Yeah, it gets kind of a bad reputation. People call it Avaturd.
Just probably because it's catchy to say that. And I don't know.
And
I know when it came out, like, again, this is when Stern went from like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
A lot of toys.
Yep.
More like ramps, like 3 ramps on it.
Stuff everywhere.
Yeah. And then to Avatar, 1 ramp, basic rules. And people are like, WTF, right? This is a huge movie when it came out, and this is what we get on Avatar. I have that comment ingrained in my head of people commenting on it. So, it gets some of the Avatar qualities. But if you're like us and you like a board game, then it's definitely worth checking Avatar out. All right, let's go. Let's review what our ratings are and what they constitute. I'm still kind of editing what my number is behind this, even though it sounds. I'm definitely positive.
Yeah, I think I know where I'm going to fall on this game, but our score key is from 0 to 2. You should burn it. From 3 to 5 is an expensive nightlight. From 6 to 8 is a solid game, and a 9 to 10 is a buy it. So, what do you think?
I would say I'm gonna go 7.5. I'm comfortable with 7.5.
Yeah, it's in the solid game territory for me. I'm gonna say it's at the low end of solid game, so I'm gonna say 6.5.
Okay, fair enough.
But
that's probably my Borg tilt, and,
yeah,
and the way it looks, and like I'm a sucker for good sounds and good jackpot callouts, and that makes me happy.
I love me a board game, but this is on the lower end of the Borgs.
I think it would get boring. I think that's why I don't have it. I think it would get boring faster than other games.
Yep. So there you go. That is Avatar.
Let's move on to the main event, which is reviewing the game Alien. Sorry for calling it Aliens earlier, even though Aliens is in the game.
Yeah, so it's confusing. It's 2 games in one, but it's only called Aliens.
So you really shouldn't go wrong, I guess. With it.
And we're from Buffalo, where everybody puts an S on the end of everything.
That's right. Reason. Inside jokes.
So Alien is. So I was in reviewing some materials for this game. I found the flyer, and the flyer said shipping in 2016, but not really. It's a 2017 game, I would call it. It's just really starting to ship. There were some early release games out there last year, but this is a game from Heighway Pinball. It's their second game. Their first was Full Throttle. It uses this wider cabinet with the swappable playfield LCD screen in the playfield and in the back box. It's a wide body. It's got tons of flippers, tons of shots. I've got a graphic here somewhere. Where is it? That shows like all the possible shots on this game. It's ridiculous. But there are only a few out there right now, and we were lucky enough to get one in Buffalo. Pocketeer Billiards picked one up. So I went down there and I streamed it. It was about a month ago now, and I had a great time on it. I was like, this game's awesome. All the things we kind of were hoping for out of Star Wars is like, where's the moments and things like that. This game has them, but we'll kind of dig through them piece by piece as we go here. So
I'm gonna give everybody the heads up because I have no patience. This is gonna be a spoiler. I think Kevin and I are usually on the same page with everything. This is gonna be the one game I think we review where we're just a chasm of differences.
Maybe.
We'll see. Maybe
We'll
you
see.
change it. Maybe we'll see. Okay.
So-
I know there was one early on.
Yeah.
We had an early disagreement about
Yeah.
it, but maybe things have changed.
So let's talk about the art on Alien.
I'm sorry. Brian Effing Dykeman in chat writes, do you think aliens like pancakes? Normally I don't read the chat on our podcast, but,
Thanks.
just think about that.
I think they
guys.
like Doritos.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the art on Alien. Alien it's honestly, after talking about Avatar, it's kind of that same feel. It's got like movie assets and license feel. Like it's the playfield isn't quite as Photoshoppy looking, but it's definitely using, and I heard an interview with Ulrich Lawson was the artist on here.
Yeah.
And kind of when the playfield art came out, people freaked out and they were like, oh my God, we want hand drawn. And he was given a bunch of pictures to use, and that was what he got to use. So he used them as best he could. And I think atmospherically, when you're playing the game and everything's on it, it looks good. It's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's funny when the art was revealed, I was like, oh, okay, that's it, right? Like, but when seeing it in the game, and this is not just like when we talk about stern art being bad, and it's not that bad in person. Like, it looks good as part of an entire package. Like, it's some art on playfields look so good that you just hang them up on your wall and you don't need whatever goes on with it. This is art that really conforms and just really works well as an entire package with the toys on it and the layout and all that, and just the atmosphere of the game. So I think the art's really good for what it is.
Yeah, but I think what people wanted was, remember the Bally Space Invaders game it was basically a ripoff of Alien art.
That's what they wanted?
I people who like Alien want that H.R. Geiger art. They want that style on a game.
I guess I don't really. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
So I think originally that was the disappointment. People wanted that style.
And
now,
I'm not an Aliens fan. I've never seen the movie, so you can just go crucify me right now. And I also don't like Star Wars. So
Jesus.
everyone,
All right, we're shutting the podcast down.
I'm just making you the most popular bro. All right, Kevin. You're Mr. Likability.
Well,
here.
I never saw Flash Gordon, so that
I haven't either.
oh Jesus.
Can we get that?
I was trying to help you out there.
We can. We'll have a viewing. We should get that for the. Anyways, we'll have a viewing of Flash Gordon at some point. We'll fix these problems.
All right, let's back on track here. So that's the art. The sound I think is really freaking good in this game, and it's a David Thiel experience. So if you like, actually he did Tron, he did Dialed In, he did
Iron Man.
Time Machine, where you go back in time.
He did Time Machine too.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
He did Iron Man. I mean, David Thiel crushes it. He's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about the music in this game. It's got that atmospheric sound and feel, and the music and the sound effects are awesome, especially when you get like Sentry Gun multi-ball going, and it's got you rip the spinner and the machine guns start going off. It's got those moments. It's got, you start the one Xenomorph multi-ball if it actually works. Spoiler alert. And like all the lights go off, and it's like it makes like these awesome sounds, and the presentation is really where this game shines. So yeah, I think the sound is great.
I was won over by the presentation, like on my first game. I wasn't. I kind of watched your stream for a little bit, just like 5 minutes, so I didn't see too much of it. But I stepped into the game, and it just looked very well done. The presentation. And I know we're getting into the LCD and stuff, but looked really good between the sound and that. It just blew away Star Wars. All right, and really impressed by it. And there was a moment, I think, when sort of the flipper side and the lights go out, and like the pulse come like the alien, and like I had like kind of like a tingle in the back of my spine. It got me for a second. I'm like, damn, I might have to get this game. But let's continue.
It's just maybe not so.
I've
fast.
seen Star Wars, Fool. All right, I've seen it.
He's seen it. He just doesn't like
That's
it.
what I can say. I don't like it. Then
All
again,
right.
I was a cynical 17-year-old.
That's right.
So,
All right, toys. You got to talk about the Xenomorph head, right?
yeah, it fucking broke.
See, that's the thing. Like, I played it at the right time. It had been there a little bit. Jeff Becker said he had spent a bunch of time getting it working right. The Xenomorph head worked. That was like the one thing when this game came out. Was it Expo last year, 2016? They brought a few of these out, and the Xenomorph head didn't work, and everybody was really disappointed because they had put out this awesome promo video where it shows the tongue coming out and grabbing the ball and pulling it back in, and off you go to multi-ball. It worked for me. It was awesome. It was, you can see my reaction in the video if you've seen it. It's just like, this is great. These are the pinball moments we live for. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite hold up the way we.
It broke on my 5th game I ever played of it.
Right.
And then I had to shut the game off and walk away.
Yeah, and that's kind of the experience. Like a lot of folks were coming in for the summer open, and they were really excited to get to play this. I know Ed Zeltman was one of them because he's in on the game. He's written up a rule sheet about this game just from watching videos and stuff like that. And it just kept restarting and having all sorts of problems, and it was really a disappointment for a lot of folks who came out. But other than the Xenomorph head, that's the main toy. That's really the only toy on the game, right?
That's it. I mean, there's what, like 2 LCD, because you got an LCD screen embedded in it. That's not a toy, but then you got an LCD screen in the game,
right?
But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game is loaded with stuff. I mean, the pop bumpers have like the alien eggs on in there. Like it is populated. It looks like a kind of a living, breathing world, right? It's not a sparse game. It looks legit. That's the one thing I thought when I saw this. I was like, this looks like a legit game with high presentation quality. I'm impressed by just kind of just like looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the pop bumper tops with the eggs. Those are awesome looking too. It's definitely got the presentation thing down. Let's talk DMD and lighting, or display, the LCD screen and lighting. So I will say the LCD screen is very well done. It's got the kind of look and feel of like a monitor in that time frame. This movie came out in like the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of those kind of like retro looks to it. And so it incorporates the movie clips well. It presents information pretty well. The drawn parts of it are presented well. It doesn't have alphabet soup or font soup on it that we criticize some of the times on these LCD screens. In general, it's really well done. The lighting, on the other hand, about 2 hours into the stream, my little LED light went out, and it's so freaking dark.
This is unforgivable. This is what I do not understand. Why is the lighting so dark on that game?
Yeah.
So when I went to play it, this is on location. They didn't have lights on over like this bank of games, which normally isn't a problem, right? There's games from 1979 there. You can see them. Why can't I see aliens? Why can't I see Alien? Like, why is it so dark? I had to go and turn the lights on. That's the only way to play this atmospheric, creepy game, right? Think about the theme, is with full lights on. You cannot play it in the dark. Which is stupid because, Stern does a good job. Jersey Jack does a good job of keeping their games so light. We have LEDs. Why is that a thing?
Yeah.
That, to me alone, is a major problem.
Yep. So I was looking around. So when I was streaming, people were asking me, like, well, how's the light look? And I was like, well, it's got like these like light tubes on it. It's not even like bulbs in it. I was like, because at first I was like, well, if it's too dark, you just get some LEDs, some like brighter LEDs, and put it in the GI, and it'd be good. But you can't do that because what they do is like there's like a little LED on a board underneath the playfield, and it shines up through this like this frosted tube that's supposed to like project light out onto the playfield.
It's not good either.
Yeah, I think it's kind of how the first versions of The Wizard of Oz were. Remember how dark those were?
Those are bad too. They're too dark.
So that's a big problem. I mean, you can throw some spotlights on the game. There are things you can do add on to kind of resolve some of this, but out of the box, it's just way too dark.
People are saying like Rubber Ducks Are Yellow in the chat says it's a lot darker than Rob Zombie. I agree. It is super. That game is super unnecessarily dark, and that's not for the atmosphere. It is totally not. You can have a game that's bright and like flicker or dim, like on Walking Dead.
Yeah,
does like Walking Dead, the premium I have and the LE. They do a great job of the atmosphere of that while still being able to see the ball. Clearly, Heighway has not figured out how to I know. That's what's going on.
Yeah, so it's a shame. So that's your DMD and lighting. Let's talk about gameplay. I know you want to. I know you want to talk about gameplay here.
What gameplay?
Kick it off.
It's a clunky turd.
Boom.
They say brevity is the soul of wit. Well, listen, my first game, I think I texted Kevin, like I was just blown away with the presentation and how it looked. I was like, I think I might have to get this game. And then I just saw it for what it is, and it is just a clunk fest. That's not to say that there aren't good shots in there that feel good, But like for every shot that feels good, there's like 2 or 3 which is just clunky. And the problem that I was having with it is that where I thought a shot was, it wasn't. You know, like I would line it up, I would hit it, and I would miss. And I'm like, why? That shot should be here, and yet it's not. Yeah. Like that comment was on Coast to Coast when was it Joshua was on it, and he was just talking like you can play a Steve Ritchie game with your eyes closed, and the shot's just there. You know, like it just feels like butter. And that is what makes Steve Ritchie so damn good, is that the shots feel good.
Yeah.
On Alien, they just don't. And it's very frustrating. Like the scoop, I was trying to hit it. And, you know, I don't know if there's no excuse for it. I was going to say maybe because it's a wide body, but, you know, Demo Man, it's like butter. Demo Man's a wide body and smooth, and shots feel good where they're at. I don't know if it's the way that the flippers are on a Heighway pinball machine. I don't know if it's the geometry. I don't know what is going on in that game, but it's just a clunk fest. Let me give you another example. One of the things that you have to do to light modes is you got to hit like the in lanes. So you hit one, like the left ramp and the right ramp, and you know, as it comes off of it, it will hit the in lane. And once you do both of those, it will light a mode. Well, first of all, the mode start shot, I was just bricking left and right. And when I was watching the stream of you guys playing it, I noticed it. I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, that looks really clunky. It looks like something's wrong. And then when I played it, I was like, yeah, this just doesn't feel right. But anyways, if that's not enough, the ball was just flying off the ramp. Like it was coming down and not hitting the in lane. So it was just driving me nuts because I couldn't qualify the mode. And eventually, by the fifth game, when the ball broke, like the xenomorph or whatever, the alien, when that broke, I was like, good, I'm just done with it. I tried playing it again at the Pinball Open when I had a break, and I just can't get into the game. I mean, all the charm of that presentation and the brilliant sound work by David Theo cannot save that game from what it is. And fundamentally, no matter how good the rules are, you have to have a game where the shots feel good. And if you hit a shot and you're a good player and you know it should go someplace and it doesn't, and it just misses or it's off because of bad geometry or bad flipper mechanics, I don't know what it is, then you've lost out of the gate.
See, I got to disagree with you a little bit here. Like, once I found that scoop to start the modes, I felt it was pretty repeatable. And when I could get the ramps going, when you hit the combo of left ramp, right ramp, scoop, that was awesome. Like I was like, this feels really good. I will concede that the shots, it's not a Steve Ritchie game. It's clunky. It's a relatively new designer, but I'm a fan of when games take new chances and try new things. And I like Ghostbusters, even though it can be clunky at times. That right ramp is impossible to hit. But these are the things I like out of pinball, and especially new designers. It's like, okay, that's the downside is you don't have the 20 to 30 years of experience of knowing like how steep a ramp should be to make it smooth and the exact angle it should be off of a flipper and things like that. But I like that there's new designers out there taking risks like this. I like that the ball does unusual things. Like there's that kind of like hidden shot on the right. You can shoot it across the playfield and it goes under the little ramp on the right and kind of pops back out how you're not expecting it. So I like when a game surprises me and does things that I don't expect. Could the ramps used to be dialed in a little bit more? Yes. The shot to feed the upper left ramp from the right flipper, it's kind of a weird, like you hit a stand-up target and then it comes back. And then we didn't have a whole lot of success hitting that upper right or upper left ramp from the upper right flipper to feed the there's a multi-ball you can start from that. We weren't able to get that going. But
so Pinball Desirables, I mean, he poses a good question. I try to answer this. Is it just a matter of different geometry, quote unquote different, not necessarily bad geometry? The answer is I don't know. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's different geometry. I can adjust to different games, and I welcome different games and different geometry. That's what's interesting to me. I mean, there's some things on Walking Dead that has different geometry.
Yeah,
than
like
what I'm
that
used
right
to.
ramp.
But it feels good, and I can adjust to it. With this game, I just, no matter what I did, I couldn't adjust to it. And I don't know if it's just the way the flipper mechs are also. Like the timing on the way, the timing on those flipper mechs they're not Williams and they're not Stern. They're their own proprietary thing, right?
Yeah, they have like a whole unit that like lifts out of the playfield.
So if that is off too from what we're trained for, that could be throwing me off. And it could be a combination of all those things. But my play experience after 8 games is I don't want anything to do with that game. That's sort of that, and that's not good. That's not good because fundamentally you want shots to feel good and you want the majority of shots to feel good. And it can be different geometry, but you can still appreciate it. Like on Ghostbusters on the right ramp, that's a tough shot. That's what it is. That's a tough shot. All right, and I don't know if I love it or hate it, but I respect it to a sense, and I don't know if it's bad geometry. I don't think I've ever called it that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyways,
boom. There was some deep pinball discussion right there.
Well, you can tell how I feel about this game.
Rules. So rules wise, I got a picture of the modes here I can show you.
So Rubber Ducks Are Yellow asks if this is one of the games produced since the new owners took over, or was it during Andrew Heighway's tenure? Probably Andrew Heighway, because we just got it last month.
Yeah, no, this is one of the ones that came through CoinTaker, so it is one of the newer ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not one of the like protos or whatever that were floating around from last year. This is one of the newer ones. So when CoinTaker posted a picture that about a month ago that they had like 4 of them, this was one of those 4. So rules wise, it's a mode based game. It's got, when you first step up to the game, you can pick from aliens or alien. Aliens on the left, alien with an S is on the right. And then you work your way through a series of modes. Some of them are pretty clever. There's certain modes where you have to avoid certain shots, and we were getting some feedback during the stream that people don't like that. They don't like being punished for making a certain shot. I kind of find it interesting that it's like, oh, I have to hit this. I want to avoid that. There's like the Find Jonesy mode. There's a cat where like the mode shot will flash real quick, and then it'll move around. And you got to flash real quick. So you got to kind of pay attention to where that shot is and then hit it before it moves. So there's some interesting modes. There's a lot of like stacking possibilities. I got like I think it was the Xenomorph multi-ball and the Sentry Gun going at the same time or something like that. And that felt really good. So there's some good rules. I've only played this game for 2 hours, so I can't speak to the longevity of the rules or the intricacies of it, but I liked what was there.
I like the fact that like what's cool is that you can pick at the beginning of the game whether you want to play through Alien or Alien. So which movie do you want to play through? That's cool. A lot of multi-balls in the game. Like I said, I mean, I eventually had to walk through it, and I just couldn't get over some of the issues of how it shot. So I can't comment in a deep sense on the rules. Kevin is the go-to person for that. But I didn't see any glaring problems from the limited time I played on it. It's pretty straightforward, and it seemed fine. And again, the presentation and the way they incorporated the modes into everything was very well done. Yeah,
it's still pretty early in code. They're still, fixing bugs, and it's not even 1.0 code yet. So, but I know the guys. I was talking to David Thiel on Facebook after the stream, and he was saying like the guys from Heighway Pinball watch these streams to see what's going on, and they use this information to like feedback and make improvements on the game. So it's awesome to see that they're sticking with it like that.
It's definitely they've got a talented team, it seems, behind the rules and the presentation. There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that.
All right, let's talk lastability.
Well, it lasted about 8 games for me, 5 originally, and then I tried to put 3 more games in it. And every time I'm on location, it's broken.
Yeah.
Our operator, it just wants to send it back. He's just done with the game because it's just constantly breaking. And I'm going to be very honest about it right now. I can sense his frustration. I can see the players at the Summer Open being frustrated. I was frustrated by the experience. The game is half-baked. It should not have shipped. It's a broken game. I guess a lot of this they can fix in code and it's coming, but why it's even being sold right now. And I can sympathize with the operator at Pocketeer. If we had bought that game in our business and was doing that, I'd just be done with it. I'd want it out of here and I want it back, and I would lose all confidence in a company because that's something I'm setting out for the public that's taking money, and it's just a mess. Ron was saying the same thing on the Slam Tilt podcast. If you guys listen to that, it's very true. This notion of shipping games or selling games that aren't ready, it's just BS, and it needs to stop.
Yep. This is the thing. This is the problem with Alien is the reliability. And, you see this with these startup boutique companies. It's like I don't know if they're really built for location. They're just not up to like Stern or Jersey Jack level of reliability and quality. I don't know if they don't put them through, as strenuous of testing. They don't have the years of experience behind them in building these games. They're starting with brand new everything, brand new mechs, brand new operating systems, brand new teams putting these things together. So like if you bring a new designer and throw them in at Stern, it's like, okay, they've got this group of folks around them who know how everything works. It's like you can just focus on building this machine. At Heighway or Spooky or whoever or Dutch Pinball, these guys are trying to do everything brand new from the ground up, and they're trying to build these machines that do more than any other pinball machine has done before. And it's a huge challenge, and unfortunately, some of the games just aren't holding up to that.
They're trying to hit a home run, and what they need is a base hit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go simple and ramp it up from there.
Mm-hmm.
So Hool was asking, does the game lock up? And I believe it was locking up, too.
Yeah.
That was another problem with it.
It was
Just
locking up.
A lot of issues.
During the
not
summer,
just one.
During the Summer Open, it would, like, flippers would die. Like, people would start the Xenomorph multi-ball, and it's supposed to, like, hold the ball, and the tongue's supposed to come out, but it would just drain. And it would just like freeze up, and there was all sorts of problems with it. So
I wish them luck, but man, this game should never have shipped.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
That's it.
It's not ready. So anything else to say before we go to our number rating?
Nope.
All right, let's go back to the.
I'm sorry to say bad things because I saw the potential. I saw the glimmer, and I can see why somebody might be taking it in, and sort of that wishful thinking that I wish this game was great. Let's see, what is it gonna get?
It's we'll run through the score key again. From 0 to 2 is Burn It, 3 to 5 is Expensive Nightlight, 6 to 8 is Solid Game.
How do you rate a broken game?
Is a buy it.
It's not like when we rated we gave our lowest rating was to Batman 66, right? And that got a low rating because basically it's a shell of a game. There's no code, but it wasn't broken. Batman 66 wasn't broken. We gave it a 4. This is a game that's broken right now. I think you got to rate it at that. I'm not going to put Burn It, which, honest to God, I think I'm justified. But it's a 3 out of 10. It's an expensive nightlight that it looks like some of these things that locking up can be fixed in getting bugs out and maybe the Xenomorph. But that doesn't fix the fact that it's a clunk fest to me. It's too bad. It had potential, but it's just not a fun machine for me.
Yeah. So for me, I had the benefit of playing this at the right time. I had a ton of fun with it. I think what's there is great. The mood and presentation and everything like we talked about, and the modes and the stacking, and it's got this unique playfield layout that I like, and the toys are cool. But when a game works for 3 weeks maybe on location, and then it can't hold up to the folks coming in from out of town to play this, that's huge and disappointing. So I'd love to rate it higher, but I gotta give it a 5. So
that's generous in my book.
Yeah,
you give it higher than Batman 66. I will say this: Batman 66.
I had more fun with it than Batman.
The shots are fine on Batman. They feel good,
but I don't have any. It didn't get me to that same level of excitement that when I was playing Alien. It was just.
They did a good job with it. The presentation is practically a 10 out of 10 on that game.
Yeah,
that's a little high, but I mean the presentation's at least at 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's not contested. The software guys, sound, lighting, talented, nailed it.
Yep.
As a whole,
and the code is way like Hool said. Batman still doesn't have any code.
Yeah.
The code on Alien is good. There's a lot there. There's a lot of cool stuff to do.
But it's
the reliability of the.
Yeah, it's a clunky too. It's clunky. It's a clunk fest.
All right. So there you have it. Let's see. We got a few viewer questions to round out the show here, and I have to scroll down and see them. All right. So viewer listener Q&A. Why don't we take turns? I'll start with the first one from the Geeky Husband. He says, "What do you want to see from future pinball machines mods in support of pinball streaming?" So would you want to? There was some discussion about this on, I think, the Jersey Jack owner forum or somewhere. I don't know. There's a million forums, but they were talking about, is there a way that manufacturers can make it easier to like tap into the LCD screens for modding?
That'd
for
be
streaming?
one I would say. That's kind of an obvious one. But I never really thought about this.
Yeah.
It's not, and God knows I'm a critical human being, but so maybe nothing.
Direct audio out would be huge. Pinball and the Zergles just mentioned that.
Yeah.
And on the Jersey Jack games, you can get in and connect to the HDMI, and I'm going to try to do that when I get my dialed in. And you can connect to the headphone jack on the front for direct audio, so I'm going to do that. But it certainly could be easier. It's not something that, how many pinball streamers are there versus how many pinball machines they have to make. Like there's no return on investment. For them.
Don't waste your time.
So
there's other things to fix, man.
Yeah.
You make the perfect 10 out of 10 pinball machine, then you can start worrying about that.
Exactly. So there are some cool things. Yeah, there are some cool things they could do to make it easier, but it's unfortunately it's not real practical. From This Week in Pinball, another streaming related question. Why don't you take this one?
After the recent pinball broadcast streams at Pinburg and Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, where do you see pinball broadcasts in 5 to 10 years for the major tourneys? That's a really good question. Where do I see it? Where do I want to see it? I think they did a really good job, and I think they're on the right track. What I've been kind of banging the drama on is that you need to tell a story. You need to have a narrative. You need to have people that you root for because you understand who they are. You understand their struggle and their story. That's important. And we kind of saw some of that, in the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open where Jeff Teal is going to ask questions. I want to see more of like in between breaks of play, like telling a story, like a little 30-second vignette or something about this player who's up, Josh Sharpe coming in second, right? Not winning a major. You tell a story like that and then you cut to him playing. How many people are going to be rooting for him? He's going to have like 90% of the people watching rooting for him, like who did not even know who Josh Sharpe was, maybe casually caught this pinball on the stream, didn't care about it before, but now they do. That's what needs to happen. So we're seeing replays thanks to what Mike Primo has done. We're seeing, cutting away to interviews with Jeff Teolis, thanks to Mike Primo again. All great. I think we just start packaging everything up with stats. And we're getting there. It just needs to be made a little crisper, but that's only because we're limited with our budget and time and resources. Everybody's doing this on their own time. So what needs to happen in 5 to 10 years is almost like a dedicated company.
You need money. That's what needs to happen. The production, what we were able to pull together was honestly pretty amazing considering, it's just like Mike running all the production stuff. You got Doug Polka, manning the board and doing all the tech stuff. And then you got, me doing the telestrator for the first time. And you got, Steve Bowden, who's an amazing commentator. But you need, these are all just like volunteer people. Like Steve was playing pinball and then he came over and jumped into the booth. So
you guys did a good job of explaining things. The telestrator was a step in the right direction and constantly explaining things, because you got to remember, if somebody happens to stumble on this pinball competitive stream for a second, you got to grab their attention. You can't lose them with this esoteric talk or inside jokes and stuff like that.
Yep. And having the Never Drain software where it can display like where everybody is at currently, who we're watching, how many points they have, having that stuff on screen at all times. So, it's an 8-hour stream. People aren't going to be sitting there in front of it all the time. They're going to have to go away and, maybe have it on in another room of their house, being able to come back and be like, oh, look, Zach, picked up a point in that last round. Here's where we are. Definitely helps. But
all right, so we got the next question from Pinball Undesirables.
Look at him.
Whopper points. Thoughts on the system, and would you like to see anything change? I don't have strong feelings about the system in general. I understand. I have a lot of trust in Josh Sharpe. Let me say that. Like, when a change comes about, I think sometimes people have this knee-jerk reaction that they don't like change, and maybe they don't have all the facts, but they rush to a judgment. I have so much faith in Josh and what he's done and what he's proven that I sit back and I say, well, if Josh thinks this is a good idea, let's see how this plays out. I think, starting to build up those pots, he knows what needs to be done, and he's echoed the fact that, Big Buck Hunter, right, and their broadcasts well, they have sponsors and all that, but it's only because they grew it, and he's trying to take pinball in that direction. So if these changes can elevate pinball and get more sponsors and get more broadcast time and get more of an audience, then I'm all for whatever changes need to be made to make that happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Whopper points are great for motivating, especially new players who are into, like, once you introduce them to, like, oh, like, it's this worldwide leaderboard, you can rank yourself up against 35,000 other players, and that gets people hooked. And that keeps people coming back to pinball events. And, you know, when you introduce things like the Papa Circuit, and it's separate points, that gets, you know, people were here in Buffalo 2 weeks ago, and then this past weekend they were over on the West Coast at the Northwest Pinball Championships. I see Robert Gagno and I see Tim Balls, and it's like, these guys are, like, going all over the country to get these points so they can make the circuit finals. So it definitely motivates people. So I don't know as far as, like, what I would change, but you know, they're always trying to come up with ways to make the points you get more valuable and, like, balancing things out, like the super leagues and things like that. So, and like Nick said, history has proven out that Josh makes good decisions and is not scared to try new things. And if things don't necessarily work out the way they anticipated, then they'll make changes. So,
I want to also say, so Pinball Undesirable says, I don't have a better idea or anything. I just wish it didn't drive people to tournament formats that drag on forever. You hit the nail on the head. Kevin and I feel very strongly about this. We hate tournaments that drag on forever because somebody's trying to maximize TGP. It caters to such a small percentage of people. It alienates anybody who's new to the tournament. And even, you know, Kevin and I are super serious about pinball, but, you know, at some point it's too much. So you got to balance that, man. It's got to be fun. So yeah, totally with you on that.
Yeah. You know, a lot of that can be taken care of on the tournament director's side too. Like, make sure you have a B division for new players. Make it welcoming to new folks and people who aren't as, you know, TGP and Whopper Point crazy, while also, you know, recognizing that that's a huge motivator and a big reason why a lot of these people who are really into pinball keep at it. So
when people complain to us, I'm like, listen, we have our team league, which is no Whopper points. That's just casual and fun and short. Then we have Selfie League, which you could do at your own time. Then we have the Home Collection League, which is worth more points, Whopper points. And then we have bigger tournaments where, like the Summer Open, which are worth a ton. So it's kind of choose your own adventure. You fall into, you know, we try to cater to every pinball player, but they're oftentimes separate tournaments.
Yep.
Right. So that's one solution.
There you go. Let's see. From TurboGrafx 7, he says, "What?" This is a pretty good one. What public service announcement from would you like to see on pinball machines on location, like the "Say No to Drugs" campaign of the 80s?
Here's mine. 90s. Deodorant. It's a requirement, not an option.
Boom. I like it. I don't. You know, I should have put some more thought into this. I didn't really come up with one, but I don't know. Well, maybe I'll come up with some before the end of the show.
All right.
And Rudy Soup, I wasn't even going to throw this one in here.
Don't.
But no?
If you want to go down that rabbit hole.
He wants to know, you know, this will be for the people who know what it is. He says, will there ever be a pinball manufacturer brave or genius enough to produce a zingy bingy table? And we'll just leave it at that. Let's wrap things up, ladies and gentlemen, with a bunch of plugs. So follow us on social media. If you're watching, you can see them at the bottom of your screen. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as Buffalo Pinball. You can follow us on Facebook. We have a group. You just search for Buffalo Pinball. And you can join our Steam group. You get notifications when you're playing your video games about when we go live with our streams and things like that. Which reminds me, I need to reset those for the next season of Bro. And also check us out on the web. That's kind of the hub for everything Buffalo Pinball, buffalopinball.com.
We're going to be on the front page of Twitch kicking off our new season of Bro to Even Pinball on Thursday, September
7th?
Said that with such conviction.
Question mark?
Yeah. Whatever next Thursday is. Yeah. Thursday, 8 o'clock. Join us as hundreds, if not thousands of people watch us play pinball.
7th. Nailed it.
So we're excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to email us, send us feedback, correct us when we say things that are wrong, which never happens. That never happens. You can email talkpinball@gmail.com. If you want to check us out, like Nick said, streaming live, check out twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. Great way to support us is by subbing to our channel there. with our new season of Bro kicking off, it's a great time to jump in, and we want to hit that next sub level to unlock new emotes, and we can talk about what that might be. So hop on over, subscribe to twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. And last but not least, our Patreon.
So we got a Patreon page. It's mostly for folks, I would say, who are just listening to this podcast and aren't on Twitch or are supporting us through Twitch. So it's just another opportunity to support what we're doing, keep us going. And one of the levels on there, I mean, first of all, you can hop on and donate $1 a month, and that's very meaningful because we look at how many people are supporting us. We have maybe a few thousand downloads, but I think we only have couple dozen people on Patreon, so a very small percentage are supporting us on that. So if you want to show support, it will take you 5 minutes, $1 a month, and it's very meaningful. If you want to be a baller and donate $5 a month, well, you can have some input and some effect on our podcast, because what we do is every month we give those folks at the $5 level the opportunity to vote on what game we're going to review that month. So for instance, this month, you got Avatar, and that was brought to you by those Patreon folks who voted for us to review that game. So you can always throw some suggestions to us if you're watching this on Twitter, the chat, etc. But ultimately, those folks who are at that level, that's their perk. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, and right on cue, Rubber Ducks Are Yellow. Just subscribe with Twitch Prime. Thanks, guys.
Free.
We missed some folks during the show, but we appreciate all the support throughout the podcast. And if we don't see you before then, we'll see you next Thursday for our season premiere of Brody Even Pinball on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Can't wait.
Twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. We'll see you then.
Cool. Have a good night.
Bye.